Hey everyone, I've just been collecting some moss from my woods here for a project that I want to share with you today. I'm excited to be here with you today. As you've probably gathered from some of my recent videos, there's a lot that goes on the farm in the month of February, despite the fact that it's the off season for us in terms of livestock and in terms of flowers. But the lack of fresh flowers is exactly why I wanted to share this video with you today. You know, whether we are cut flower gardeners or farmer florists, winter in the northern hemisphere leaves us with a little bit of a dilemma, and we have to get a little bit creative about how to generate an income or even how to just have fresh flowers for ourselves in the middle of winter. I've seen farmer florists come up with some really great solutions for this, like selling dried wreaths, pre-selling bouquets or bouquet subscriptions. But today I wanted to share a fresh floral design idea with you. It can be ready as early as end of December. It involves using sprouted hyacinths, and I sell these for Valentine's Day. They're very popular with my customers, and it allows me to participate in one of the biggest floral weekends of the entire year. Whether you are a florist or not, this is a really simple design that you can do yourself to enjoy some freshness and some beautiful fragrance indoors in the winter. So before we can start, we first need hyacinths that have been prepared properly so that they will grow and bloom for us. Most hyacinths are well suited to forcing. Some of the ones that I have used are City of Harlem and Woodstock, which are early blooming varieties. And a couple of later ones that I have used are Jan Boss and Gypsy Queen. Forcing hyacinths maybe sounds technical and scary, but really it just involves giving them a cold and dark period for a long enough amount of time. So hyacinths need a cold and dark period of about 12 to 14 weeks at 9 degrees Celsius. Because I'm getting mine ready for mid-February, I can get away with regular hyacinths. But if you're trying to have them ready early, for example, at the end of December, you will want to find prepared hyacinths. So what we do to prepare our hyacinth here, and as a reminder, our farm is located in the extreme southwest of Canada, or in the Pacific Northwest. Once we get our bulb shipment from our supplier in early October, we pot the hyacinth bulbs up individually in 4-inch pots. We plant them fairly high up in the pots. We cover them with soil, but we leave the tops or the tips uncovered. So then we take those pots and we put them in bulb crates and we stick those outside in trenches. And then we cover with 6 inches of hay or straw, but you can also use sand. Now, as you might imagine, this method is a little bit rodent friendly, as I was talking about in my video with our tulip update. So if you want more control, or if you live in a warmer climate where it doesn't get cold enough for long enough, or if you live in a colder climate, hyacinths are hardy down to zone 4. So in colder climates, they may need some additional protection. So if you're in a different situation like that, you can simulate the climate needed for the bulbs by using a refrigerator or a cooler. Whatever you do, just make sure there's adequate ventilation and moisture. And after 12 to 14 weeks, once the foliage has begun to grow and sprout to about 2 inches, you can take your hyacinth bulbs and prepare them how you like, bring them indoors, and enjoy watching them grow and bloom in about 2 to 3 weeks. So just a note of caution, hyacinth bulbs can cause a skin irritation, just makes your skin itchy. It's not dangerous or anything, but it can be annoying. So if you have that issue, or if you don't want to take any chances, just wear gloves as you are handling your hyacinth bulbs. So as I mentioned earlier, I was collecting moss for these. So we're going to head to the studio now and I will show you how to make these. These are based on the Japanese art of Kokedama. So Kokedama involves making a ball of soil around a plant's roots and then wrapping that with moss. So if you're curious about the history of Kokedama, it's really quite fascinating if you do a little research on it. For the purpose of this design, the supplies that we need are very, very simple. We need our flowering bulb. We need some moss. We need something to tie or fasten the moss on. I usually use sisal. You can use wire if you want it not to be as visible. For this one, I'm going to try using some simple white string. And we need a pair of scissors, and that is all we need to make a basic hyacinth kokedama. So I'm going to get you a close-up view here so that you can see how I do this. First, I'm going to just gently pop this pot off of this potted hyacinth, and you can see the root formation here. I'm going to be removing some of the soil around the top of the bulb because I actually really find that part of the bulb to be quite cute when it's exposed a little bit. And I'm going to be loosening a little bit of this soil without dislodging too many of the roots. These roots are fairly fragile. You can see a few are breaking off here. Don't worry too much about that. I just want to kind of minimize this a little bit in terms of its bulk. Now I'm going to grab some of my moss. The easiest moss to use for this is moss that's in a sheet. If you're out gathering your own moss, look for moss that comes off in sheets like this. It's much easier to use. I'm going to break this little side shoot off. And essentially, you're just going to be wrapping this root ball in this moss. So once you have it sort of placed, you can pick it up and kind of mold it in. And now I'm going to take my string, put it under my thumb here, and leave a little bit of a tail. And I'm just going to start wrapping it around in all directions. There's really no wrong way to do this. I'm just going to keep wrapping it until I'm happy with the shape. If I've achieved a nice rounded shape, and that is really how simple it is. So I'm happy with this amount of wrapping, so I'm going to put that down, grab my scissors, and trim that off. And I will just tie these guys. And I want to trim those little tails off so that they're not really visible. And that is an adorable hyacinth bulb kokedama. So that is the start of what I do for Valentine's. And now comes the really fun part, because now I get to decorate this. So from here, you can get creative. You can add a little sparkle. I've been foraging. I've got some pussy willows, some dried flowers and lichen. So the nice thing is that you're basically working into soil, so it's easy to make insertions. And if you're having any trouble, just make sure you cut your stems on an angle and create a nice sharp point. So we're just gonna get these all dressed up and cute. Got a little bit of gomphrena. And you can even glue little cones in and basically just get creative. So I sell these individually, but you can also group them for a larger display. And you can use this concept as a jumping off point as well for larger designs. This idea has so much potential to build from. So these designs were inspired by this original concept. In these ones, the hyacinths are grouped and covered in moss, and they are on either dinner plates or just cereal bowls, just beautiful bowls and plates that I found. And then I incorporated dried flowers for texture and for an instant display of color. just so that my customers would have something to enjoy while they were waiting for their hyacinths to bloom. So there's just so much you could do here in terms of bringing your own creativity to it and in terms of hitting different price points and upsells. Once I get these guys inside, they will begin to bloom within 2 to 3 weeks. It's really fun to watch them grow and change. If you rotate them, it will help to keep the stems straight, but they may end up needing a stake just to support that heavy hyacinth bloom. In terms of watering, I would bottom water, or you could also mist them. And once the bloom is done, it can be trimmed off. Allow the foliage to continue growing until it has turned yellow. And then the bulb can be planted outside in your garden, and it should return next year at the normal time. So there you go. I hope this video has gotten your creative juices flowing. Let me know if you're going to try this, or if you already do this, and if you use other bulbs besides hyacinths. I hope this video has given you some fresh inspiration, which we all need from time to time. And I hope it's given you a tool that you can use to bring some fresh flowers into your business or into your home in the off season. Thanks for being here, and if you found this video helpful, I would sure appreciate a like, subscribe, or if you could share this video with somebody. I'm still working hard to build this channel, and I so appreciate your support. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.